There's something about women who blend science with soul, and today's guest does that effortlessly. She's a physiotherapist, maternal and child nutritionist, entrepreneur, and an Instagram content creator. But most importantly, she's a mom who's walked the walks from postpartum healing to toddler nutrition, and now she's helping so many moms do all of that without losing themselves in the journey. Welcome to a power packed, heart led conversation with Anupriya, aka Chiyu Mum. You know, I always find it fascinating when women wear multiple hats physiotherapist, maternal and child nutrition coach, mom, entrepreneur. When I came across Anupriya's page, I was like, how is she able to do it all with such a sweet smile on her face and with so much calm? So, before we get into all the advice, let's rewind it a little. Anupriya, what drew you into physiotherapy and eventually into maternal and child nutrition?
So, physiotherapy, I started my career, my profession as a physiotherapist because I have seen how much important movement is for the body. So, to heal a body, movement is very important, and that's something which I really like about physiotherapy. But after becoming a mom, I saw myself going into the worst painful phase, and I tried to move also, but still I didn't see any healing done. And then I started my daughter's solid journey, and while working with her, I researched and I studied hard about this, like, what food can do for to your body. And while doing all this research and everything, I found out that it's not the movement first, it's always the food.
So, Anupriya, was there a turning point? Like, I'm sure you're talking about, your tryst with motherhood. Was that a turning point when you realized that, you eventually want to, expand beyond physiotherapy and go into nutrition?
I've been working with moms in a very holistic way where I help them in physical pains and the mental pains. So if you will see, physical pain is always coming because sometimes there are, there is some mental issue, some emotional load and all. So I am taking physiotherapy and nutrition all along together so that I can treat moms holistically.
That's nice. And Anupriya, you're also an entrepreneur. Would you also want to tell us the story behind creating Health Pro Solutions?
Yes, so Health Pro Solution is like, it's my second baby, but interestingly, it was delivered before my first. So it's like in August 2018 when I conceived, so I was not happy with the news. And the first thing which came to my mind was like, I have to stop working now because my child will be needing me, my child needs me more. So I won't be able to work. But then I discussed with my husband and he said, he took a bold decision and he said, let's quit the job and let's start something of our own where we can balance, you can balance motherhood, you can balance work also. And yes, we started working on that Health Pro Solution dream. And in March 2019, we launched Health Pro Solution. It was open in March 2019. And just 1 month after that, I delivered my child also. So that year, I will say I become a mom twice.
So nice. Did motherhood change the kind of professional you are? Like, did it change the way you work, your approach towards working, anything of that sort? Any big change did it bring in your, professional way of working?
Now, as a professional, I want to go deeper into the things and do my research work completely so that I can help mothers in a better way.
I'm sure, your clinical lens has also, must have contributed greatly in the way you've raised your own daughter. She's 6 years old right now. So, any specific way or style in which, it has changed the way you're raising your daughter?
I listen more. So my listening skills, I'm a better listener, more calmness is there, more patience is there. And I think kids, they always do what they see, or they always sense that emotion from the mothers. So yeah, she's also growing. She's getting that patience and calmness from me.
Anupriya, you work with both children and mothers. Which out of these groups you would feel is more emotionally demanding, and it's I would say, at the risk of using that word, slightly more tougher, I would say.
With kids, it's not that tough because I feel kids, they always show what they do what they see in the family. But with mothers, it's really difficult, I will say, because when I'm working with mothers, so it's not just the one thing. There are so many things like mother guilt is there, then there is so much of an emotional load, then judgments, society pressure, family pressure, expectations. So it's really very immense with mothers.
And Anupriya, if if you weren't doing what you're doing right now, what would you feel? What would the Anupriya 2.0 doing if it wasn't what she's doing right now?
So I think Anupriya will be doing something more creative, more fun, but again something related to food and kids. So I just love working with kids, and I love creating nutritious, easy meals. So maybe like a small cafe, like a dosa cafe with a
I love dosa.
yeah, dosa cafe with a corner play area. I will not call it is like a play area. It's like a area where the kids can play with food, because
Yeah.
that opportunity they are not getting at their homes. So where they can just spill the food, lick the food,
Get
and
messy.
yes, get messy. And that's how they are connecting themselves with the food, and they can understand like what food, a good nutritious food, can do to their body.
Anupriya, I think we're on a fantastic topic about food, and I actually would want to go back to my journey of starting solids with Ayan. I was in Canada back at that time, and I did not take the traditional puree way of I would say as the approach of starting solids with him. I think with Ayan from day one we stick to baby led weaning, and today at the age of 3 he's a fantastic eater. There hasn't been a day when I've actually literally fed him food, and this was met with so much I would say non-acceptance when I used to tell my mom or family back home that
Yeah.
my child eats himself. They would not understand it. They would consider me lazy or for not making that effort to feed my child. But do you think there needs to be more acceptance for BLW, and there needs to be more awareness for it?
I'll say just go back to the basics, like how our parents have raised us. So if you will see that time, we were not getting that much. So we were just, mom used to give us the plate and you eat it, right? For 7-8 months, there will be a lot of food wastage, and kids will be eating very less. Like if you're giving 10 bites, they will be eating 1 bite. But with the time and playing with the food, getting messy, they learn how to do it. And the kids who are doing more of a messy play in initial years, they're always good eaters, healthy and happy eaters in later part of the years. So that's how you build a strong connection with the food.
What are your thoughts on baby led weaning as a child nutrition coach? What do you recommend to your to your clients?
I want to give only one advice to the moms, that you have to keep your fears aside. Because if you will see, most of the mistakes are done because of your fear. So let's say if you want to offer a food to your child and you feel, okay, it can cause choking, and then you will not. So there are always different ways of offering that food. So when you have that fear in your mind, automatically your child senses it, and it can lead to rejection or the child crying, and the other people around you, they also start advising you. So keep all your fears aside and just offer whatever you want to offer. Stick to the basic rules, like how to offer those, and yes, it will help you. It will work magically in your journey.
Anupriya, I remember when my son Ayan was born, my back, my stitches, my core, everything felt so broken, and I did not really know where to go for help. I didn't even know actually like physiotherapy was even an option to explore. So when should new moms actually see a physiotherapist?
More than half of the people, they feel physio is about the modalities, applying the machines and all. But now the new school physiotherapy is all about helping. It's like a complete rehab, 4 to 6 weeks, somewhere in between that. So like you can complete that 40 days wala rest period, and then you can start with your physio sessions.
And when you're talking about physio sessions, talking more about it, what sort of therapies or what sort of exercises or movements that you suggest to a new mom during a physio session right after giving birth, like 4 to 6 weeks?
So as a new mom, you should always start with the gentle exercises. First thing is the breath work. Like you have to really work on your meditation and something where you are helping your mind You are helping your hormones to stabilize.
What are some what are some common postpartum things that, as new moms, that we often, ignore, we term them as normal, but they're actually not normal and they are a red flag.
I think everything is taken as normal because we have always heard अरे ये तो होता ही है, हमने भी तो करा था, हमारे साथ भी हुआ था, उसके साथ भी होता है. So we have always heard it like that way and we think okay, it's normal. And mothers are going into depression, mothers are having a lot of lower back ache, mothers are having leaking urine, and they are like okay, it's normal because it happens with every mom. But if it is normal, if you take it as a normal, then you will learn how to live with that pain, which is not okay.
Now we're talking about postpartum, and that's something that I love talking about. Having said that no enough conversations around it. What are some common myths around postpartum that you feel that really need to be busted? It's 2025 and it's time we stop doing these particular things about postpartum that are not right. And I'll actually go first. That's something that I don't like was that the fact that you really the moms are subjected to like 40 days of complete bed rest. I am absolutely okay with the fact that okay, you need bed rest, your body needs recovery, but like a basic walk around the house, just baby steps around the house, that's also essential.
Yes.
To gradually transition your body into early movement. So what would you like to add on to this?
The one thing which I feel is like a myth and I really want that to be stopped by the society is not feeding a mom with the balanced meals. Like अभी भी आप काफ़ी घरों में देखोगे तो दे से यू हैव टू ईट घिया, यू हैव टू ईट तोरे, यू हैव टू ईट द बॉइल्ड फूड, यू हैव टू ईट सम गुड़ का समथिंग, लाइक इतना मीठा खिला दो बॉडी को कि बॉडी में इतनी इन्फ्लेमेशन आ जाए दैट योर बॉडी गोज इन टू लाइक अ कंप्लीट depression mode. If a mother is not eating a balanced meal, she's not eating protein, she's not eating vegetables, she's not eating acha wala fat, then how will that mother regain that strength? She will not. So I feel we should work very closely with a new mom on her food, on her balanced meals, where she's taking chana also, rajma also, and the plate is balanced.
And one thing, Anupriya, that I actually did not know until I became a mom myself was diastasis recti. Thankfully, in Canada, in my 6-week checkup, my gynecologist told me I had a 2.5 finger gap, like a DR gap. But till date, I see so many moms in India, they don't even know that they have DR.
Yeah.
And if there's something that something like this even exists.
It comes to every mom. With few moms they heal in few weeks, but for few moms it's like for a longer period. It can be till months or it can be till years. When the new mom comes out of the hospital, nobody is telling her about this.
And that's actually so sad that something so basic like this goes missed. Like I actually happened to tell my mom about it, and she's like, I don't even know if something like this I even have. And it's been it's just such a sorry state of affairs in India about the lack of awareness around DR. But any new mom tuning in, would you want to tell them about any 3 basic signs that they have DR?
You can just lie down and you can just put 2 fingers just above, in the middle of center of your abdomen, and then you just see how deep they go. It's mostly found closer to the navel.
And now that we're talking about recovery, postpartum recovery, a lot of C-section moms, they feel like their recovery is taking way too long. What should they do in such a case as a physiotherapist and as a maternal nutrition coach? What advice would you want to give to C-section moms?
So for the C-section moms, I know abdominal surgery is something big, but that doesn't stop you from your gentle exercises. They can always take sufficient amount of rest and they can just start with the gentle exercises. Again, the main thing is about the food. They have to focus on a balanced meal from day one. Like the day they deliver the baby, even in the hospital, a balanced plate should come in front of them. Something, because food is something which makes you feel happy. You love that, and that will make your body mentally and physically stronger. So I think they really need to work on the food.
A mom like this, who's in the thick of postpartum, would you want to give, 3 snacks, like nutritious snacks that they can, have at their bedside cart?
Roasted makhanas, that's like a very quick and super nutritious snack. Then second is, I will say, gur chana. Gur chana is very good because it's a protein also, and at the same time it's helping the body in purifying the blood. The third snack, I will say, always keep fruits close to you whenever you feel hungry, whenever you crave for something meetha, because that's very normal in new moms. So always grab a fruit and eat that.
Nice. And now that we're on the interesting topic of food, especially in postpartum, and as a maternal health coach, would you like to tell us about 5 foods that we should definitely include in postpartum healing for new moms?
See, postpartum healing in the new moms, I will say ghee is must. Second is protein. It can be anything, like whatever protein is available to you, but please take that, because till date so many families, they don't focus on protein. Fruits, very important again, because that lowers down your craving for the meetha, keeping your gut healthy and happy. And the last thing I will say, not on the food, but I will say the movement. Movement is very important. Keep eating healthy, keep eating balanced, but please move. There are families who are not eating eggs, and then it is very difficult to get that same amount of a protein from dals, and if you mix other things also. So then you can always go for a supplement. But again, my vote will always go with the real food first.
Yeah, and Anupriya, just for some backstory about me, I actually breastfed Ayan for almost 2 years, and there was so much chatter and so much unsolicited advice that I was always thrown at, that अच्छा आप राजमा मत खाओ, बच्चे को
yeah.
गैस हो जाएगी,
Yeah.
छोले मत खाओ, बच्चे को गैस हो जाएगी,
Yeah.
मिर्ची मत खाओ. So there was so much that I was stopped from eating, that मेरा एक
Yes.
it was so initially, in the initial few months, it was very disappointing, and I did not, that actually contributed a lot to my postpartum anxiety, was that I was always treated differently, like
Yes.
my meals were treated differently. So do breastfeeding moms really need like a different meal?
No. Breastfeeding moms, again, they need a balanced meal. Simple. The rule is simple: balanced meal which has a sufficient amount of protein on their plate, fat. So I will share one example from my motherhood journey. So when I delivered my daughter, the same day that nutrition staff comes to me, and so I didn't drink coffee like entire 9 months. And the moment I delivered my child and मुझे थोड़ा सा होश आता है, and then that person comes to me and then he asked me, मैम आप क्या लेंगे? तो मैंने सबसे पहला, the first thing I said, I want to drink coffee. So my husband was like, no, you can't drink coffee. I think I can drink coffee now because I have delivered her now. So then my gynae came and she said that she can eat whatever she wants to eat.
Yeah.
Let her eat, let her enjoy. You just have to keep a track on the intake. But food, again, as I say, food is something from where you get your happiness.
Yes.
If you keep a person on boiled khana, dalia, khichdi all the time for 40 days, that is the reason why mothers are going into depression. It is not because it is like depression comes with motherhood. It is because of the food and the changes this society is pressurizing moms with.
What's that one item, Anupriya, you'd like to ban from a new mom's kitchen?
I'm totally against breads when it comes to the maida bread or the breads in the market, because this is like a very easy food, and sometimes we mothers get very lazy and we think, okay, bread to pada hai, chalo aaj toast bana deti hu, aaj ye bana deti hu. So that's how you develop a mindset and a habit. So it's always good to ban it from your kitchen so that you have no other option, and you will make chilas, you will make dosas, you can make poha. There are different types of a breakfast.
And now talking a little bit about child nutrition, I've been told every day from my mother-in-law as well that बच्चे को उठते सार you need to give them a glass of milk, शाम को भी दूध दो. So, and I actually don't feel the need, because I've noticed myself that the more milk I give him, it upsets its stomach, or he just tends to miss the next meal. What are your thoughts on the including milk? How much of a milk should we include in a toddler's diet?
See, there is no problem in milk. There is a problem in the mindset. But they are not understanding the milk. What we are getting now is not just the milk, it's adulterated. And you also have to think like अगर आप बच्चे को, let's talk about a 15 months child, if you are giving twice milk, cow milk, then that tiny tummy will be filled by milk only. Then do you really think that your child will ask for the other food ingredients, and will he explore what all extra things are there on the plate? He will never, because he feels full.
What are some other calcium sources that I can include in my toddler's diet to boost his calcium intake?
Sesame seeds, fox nuts. You can go for a ragi, very, very healthy, very nutritious. Like so many people, they don't understand the value of ragi, but ragi is like something which heals your body holistically. So that I will advise mothers also to start from day one, and for the kids also, it's very nice.
Anupriya, we're talking about starting solids journey. It's a fantastic milestone for a baby and even for a new mom.
Yeah.
But I would want to know more about, since as a maternal health coach and a child nutrition coach, could you tell me about the 3 things that we need to raise an independent eater when we're starting solids?
So see, when we start with the solids journeys, as a new mom starting something for the first time, it's very overwhelming, and then too much of a knowledge everywhere, then people advising you to do this and do that, dal ka pani pila do, ye khila do, parle ji biscuit khila do. This also comes in the starting only. 3 things which I'll tell, which you have to follow throughout, like first 6 months when you start with the journey. First thing is, you can always start with little bit of food, puree form, and starting with 1 spoon, and then accordingly you can increase, so that you get an idea about the allergies and all. And you make sure that by 8th month you are done with allergies and everything. You get to know like what are the foods which are problem for my child, and what are the foods my child is liking, and what are the foods he's not liking. Then after 8th month, you can always get into more variety of different food items. It can be different cuisines also, and see how your child is responding to different flavors. After 10 months, you can always start working on a family pot meals, so that your child is trained by 1 year on that. So I have seen many moms, they're always cooking separately for the child, but that is one thing which is not helping your child. That is creating more problems, because the child knows कि ठीक है मुझे तो ये पसंद है, मेरे लिए बनकर आ जाएगा. The moment your child sees everyone eating the same thing and he has no other option, he will eat that. So these are the 3 things which you have to follow in first 6 months. The first thing is, from day one, you start solids. Let your child eat on his own. So when we talk about this, अगर बच्चा खाना गिरा भी रहा है, अगर बच्चा हाथों से दही को या किसी भी चीज़ को खा रहा है, it's okay, let it be, because that's how they are learning to eat, and that's their way of. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I will say screen. Please, this is something like mothers come to me and then they say कि मैम मैं क्या करूँ, इसका screen कैसे हटवाऊँ, but they don't understand this is something which is started by them or by the family members. बच्चा नहीं आया था कि screen दे दो खाना खाना है, and that's how they fall into a wrong pattern which was created by. And the third thing is no sugar, no junk. Like till 2 years, I will say there should be no meetha, and your child should not be on a junk. And by junk, I mean Lays, eating chips, packet chips. कोका कोला पिला देते हैं बच्चे को, पेप्सी पिला देते हैं,
Parle G.
Yes. So these things you have to avoid. If you're going out with your child in a restaurant and enjoying the meals, that's okay. That's not counted as a junk, but I'm talking about.
So, Anupriya, how do you deal with picky eaters? Like, I've seen so many moms, struggle with kids who don't go beyond eating one set of meal and one set of texture of food. So, do you have any food exposure hacks for us?
You have to start from day one. Like if you have started your child's solids journey, make sure you are raising an independent eater, because your child is eating too less. एक या 2 बाइट खा रहा है तो आप उसको force feeding नहीं करना है, because that's how the child is losing. Second thing is sweet. Like if the child is eating nothing, people are giving rusk and chai, or people are giving parle ji, or I have seen mothers giving 3-4 glasses of a milk, because they say ma'am kuch to kha hi lega. But you have to understand, food is not to fill, it is to nourish. And the third thing I will say, so if you keep everything on track, you are not doing these 3 mistakes, your child will come with the picky eating phase, but it will settle very soon, like within few weeks or months.
There are days when, Ayan also, he shows a lot of interest in food, and, some days he'll be like, I don't like this, I don't like that. So there are some hacks to get your toddler, especially very toddlers in those phases where they are so moody and so unpredictable.
Yeah.
So how can I get them to eat, good food, nutritious food, and, do you have some hacks for busy moms like me?
Yeah, so there are always foods which your child enjoys. So let's say my daughter, she loves pancake. Now when I say the word pancake, so everyone is like pancake, because the word itself says okay, ये तो बिल्कुल भी खाना healthy नहीं है, nutrition. But I have my own recipe, and I know कि जिस दिन भी वो कुछ नहीं खाएगी, so pancake is there always. Now how I make that pancake? I mix ragi, I mix seeds powder, I mix little bit of unsweetened cocoa powder, and and banana. I don't mix any sweetener in that. So yeah, you can always try such meals for your child. And you can always try presenting the meals in a more creative way. Like if your child is not eating a normal paneer paratha, you can always cut them in a star shape, circle shape, or some Mickey shape, and then see how your child likes it. I think they will like it.
So, Anupriya, I remember when I joined back work, the first few days I had such major separation anxiety, and, it was so hard being away from your child, especially after you're with them 24/7 during maternity leave. So, mom guilt creeps in.
Yes.
What about you? Like, what does mom guilt look like for you in your daily life? And I'm sure you have so many mom clients. What do you advise to them? How do you battle this mom guilt?
See, mom guilt is there in all the moms, and it comes, I will say, every day in different forms or different ways. For me, if you will ask, in my journey, the most difficult phase was when I ended my breastfeeding journey. That was like, my daughter was okay. We started, and she was okay in 2 days, but I was someone who was just crying in the washroom, and it was
I think with parenting, I think every chapter that closes,
Yes.
it comes with so much of I would say grief.
Yes.
That you're not ready to let go of the fact that your child is becoming into an adult.
Yeah.
And you're wondering constantly that, hey, you were with me
Yes,
24/7. When the hell did you grow up?
Yeah.
Anything else that you had to unlearn as a mother?
You have to unlearn everything. Like, I used to be a overthinker, thinking about everything, but then I was like, okay, my child is sensing that from me. The day I am happy, my child is happy. The days I am sad, my child is sad, and she's more cranky, she's more clingy. So I have unlearned so many mindsets, and I have developed new mindsets which can really help me in raising a strong child.
And it's so good that with the change in your mindset, you're also training so many more women to
Yes.
have that mindset. And it's such a it's a good trickle effect that's coming in so many moms, all thanks to you. So kudos to you for that. So Anupriya, I'm going to close this segment with my final leg of the podcast, which is a rapid fire. I'm going to bounce off some questions at you, and I want to know, like, answers in one word. What is the
Yeah.
first thing that comes to your mind? So these are all very real life mom questions, and they're
Okay.
very practical, and any new mom
Yeah,
who's
I'm
listening to
listening to
this,
answer it.
yes, they'll benefit from it. So Anupriya, 3 things that we would still spot in your I don't know if your daughter is 6.5. I don't know if I should call it
She'll be soon 6.5.
so I'm not sure if I should call it like a diaper bag, but 3 things which I will always find in your bag that you're carrying for your child, even today.
Don't laugh if I'll give you that answer. I don't carry a bag now, because I have seen, like, whenever I carry a bag, it becomes a jhula, and everything is there in the bag, like her pencil, her pen. So now I've stopped carrying a bag, and I'm like, okay, I'm just carrying my wallet with some money in it, and that's it. I'm done.
Anupriya, as a child nutrition coach, which are 3 must-have pantry items for a balanced meal for a toddler?
Ragi flour, you'll be like, okay, I'm saying ragi again, because that's something which is always there. It goes in every meal. Seed powder, must. I will say peanut butter. very important because that is something which kids love, and you can just give a fruit with it, you can pair it with anything, and that's how you are completing their protein also.
Okay, Anupriya, so which is that one food that you always sneakingly include in your child's meals?
Dates goes like, because I know the kids, they love meetha, so in my family sugar is not there, we don't use, so dates goes in like almost everything, in her pancakes also, in her halwa also, in kheer also, everything I'm making with dates.
Thank you, Anupriya. It was lovely to have you today. So much of interesting advice, so much of knowledge that we got from you. And I'm sure any mom, whether in whatever season of life, whether she's
Yeah.
in postpartum, she's starting solids, I'm sure she would have benefited from this. And thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have
Thank you, Gunjan. Thank you so much.
all the new moms watching this, if you're in the thick of postpartum, or you're starting your child's solid journey, you're dealing with a picky eater, or you're looking for holistic healthcare solutions, then Anupriya is your go-to person. I'm going to add her Instagram page in the notes below. Feel free to follow her, reach out to her if you need any help, and please wait for the next episode. We'll be back with another interesting guest. Until then, take care.